The ranking of the innate talents of the Hokage when they were young. It is well known that the Hokage are the strongest figures of their time. Early in the war, it was emphasized that one must not only understand benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, trustworthiness, filial piety, fraternal duty, respect, forgiveness, courage, and selflessness. Only by striving towards these ideals can one gain recognition from others. Let's now take a look at the ranking of the innate talents of the Hokage when they were young. How do you think they should be ranked? It should be Kakashi Hatake. Although Kakashi was just an ordinary human as a child, he was a genius among geniuses. He was always the focus of all the female classmates' attention. Even though his looks were overshadowed, he still felt appreciated. This shows how high Kakashi's charm was. When Obito was worried about failing to learn the clone jutsu and having to repeat the grade, Kakashi could already create shadow clones freely in class. His talent alone surpassed everyone else, making him a genin. Being a genin at the age of 6 is unprecedented in the history of Konoha. You should know that even the most talented Uchiha, Itachi, became a genin at the age of 7. Kakashi's promotion speed remained very fast. At the age of 13, he became the captain of the ANBU under direct command of the Hokage and the genin bell test held by Konoha over the years. Kakashi was the only genin who managed to touch the bell from a jonin teacher. Actually, he accidentally grabbed it. So this talent even scared Kakashi himself. Many years later, when he faced someone barely competent, he immediately reminded Asuma and Kurenai. This guy is a man who became the captain of the ANBU at the age of 13. So who was the Wind Master back then? I believe Kakashi would definitely rank first among the Hokage. At the age of 12, he developed Chidori. Aside from compiling the White Book, the infamous Orochimaru, who always had to endure the Manjikyu Sharingan in battles. Compared to them, it seems like they were just playing around as children. Next, second place. Minato Namikaze during the setting of Boruto. Graduated from the Ninja Academy at the age of 10. Looking at the batch of passionate young people. At that time, Konoha was in a period of turmoil. The value of ninja ranks was very high. What was Minato's strength like as a child? It was demonstrated in the mission to save Kushina. At that time, Kushina, because she was the future Ninetales Jinchuriki, was targeted by Kumo. Finally, she was almost kidnapped out of Konoha. At a critical moment, it was Minato who, based on Kushina's subtle red mark, quietly appeared in the dark and eliminated all the Kumo ninjas. Such a thing where someone could sneak into Konoha without being noticed has never happened. Therefore, Minato's talent as a child must have been extremely terrifying. Perhaps he was already researching Flying Thunder God at that time. Minato not only had high talent but also high emotional intelligence. Moonlight briefly resolved Kushina's resentment. Instantly made Kushina's heart flutter. The blood-red chili pepper, who everyone saw as, blushed at that moment after learning Flying Thunder God. Minato became a nightmare on the battlefield like his father, Hashirama Senju. An enemy sighted would flee at the sight of the yellow flash. At the age of 23, he became the youngest Hokage in the history of Konoha. Although the third Hokage, Minato Namikaze, was in an elderly state, he was recognized as a genius by the first and second Hokage when he was young. He studied under both the first and second Hokage. He cut down hatred above Vizoro. It was precisely because of this that the third Hokage, although the title of the strongest Hokage was eventually taken back by Madara, in terms of talent as a child, the third Hokage was still among the top. Likewise, Jiraiya, who has extensive knowledge, was also deeply shocked. The first and second Hokage did not have particularly high skills in the 5 elements, DTON, jutsu. Their main focus was on medical ninjutsu. Therefore, Tsunade specifically developed Naruto's strength into brute force. She let him follow a path with fewer hand seals or no hand seals at all. It is clear that if Naruto used his brain, he would realize. During the development of the Rasengan, Kakashi even tried to explain the principle of elemental affinity to him. Everything he did ended up being counterproductive. During the development of the Rasengan, both of them truly grew stronger after their bloodlines awakened. One awakened the Manjikyu Sharingan and could activate Susanoo. The other awakened the Rinnegan. Compared to them, it seems like they were just playing around as children. 6th place, 2nd Hokage, Tobirama Senju. Although the 2nd Hokage was a master of forbidden techniques, his talent for ninjutsu as a child was probably average. However, in terms of ideological awakening, he was a pioneer. Even when a child had to sacrifice and was almost beaten by his father, young Tobirama was already thinking of feasible solutions. He knew that reckless arguments would serve no purpose. They would easily lead to conflicts filled with hatred. Therefore, to avoid unnecessary disputes, he established strict ninja rules and followed them. This philosophy is evident in wood plank. The bloodline genes are inherited from superior ancestors. 4th rank, Tobirama Senju. The two competed against each other since the Ninja Academy days and grew up together. What made Dan's most uncomfortable was, later, when it came to becoming Hokage, Izuna beat him to it. It was during that mission in Omega Cure Village. If he had followed his inner thoughts and acted decisively, then the 5th and 1st Hokage would have been different. Although he didn't have much talent for learning ninjutsu, to enable himself, he decided to strengthen his abilities. He created the Fire Release, Phantom Illusion Sword technique and the Great Hand Blade technique. As a result, Madara gave him a wild rant. At that time, Madara and Hashirama were having a good time together. Both of them truly grew stronger after their bloodlines awakened. One awakened the Manjikyu Sharingan and could activate Susanoo. The other awakened the Rinnegan. Compared to them, it seems like they were just playing around as children. What are you doing here? Actually, what? Afterward, Naruto also took the path of using fewer hand seals or no hand seals at all in learning ninjutsu. Because Naruto didn't need to think, he just needed to release chakra. Therefore, he learned simple techniques such as the Rasengan Heisei medical ninja. One cannot fall first on the battlefield. Therefore, one must possess a certain level of self-defense capability. For this reason, Tsunade specifically developed his strength into brute force. The only person who learned this technique from her was Sakura with the establishment of the open medical ninja system. He also invented a bunch of forbidden techniques. According to this theory, Jiraiya should be the first person to use these forbidden techniques. However, due to the danger and complexity of these forbidden techniques, Jiraiya did not widely disseminate them. But for Minato, it was as easy as cutting cabbage. With a single swing of his sword, before Kushina even realized it, all the Kumo Jonin had already fallen. Therefore, Minato's talent as a child must have been extremely terrifying. Perhaps he was already researching Flying Thunder God at that time. Moonlight briefly resolved Kushina's resentment. Instantly made Kushina's heart flutter. The blood-red chili pepper, who everyone saw as, blushed at that moment. Afterward, Naruto also took the path of using fewer hand seals or no hand seals at all in learning ninjutsu. Because Naruto didn't need to think, he just needed to release chakra. Therefore, he learned simple techniques such as the Rasengan.